Okay, so nostalgia has come to bite me in the back. I am reviewing Thomas and Friends stuff today. So, so somehow this thing is supposed to be Thomas, though it's so different from Thomas, you can't really consider it Thomas. Like, this looks a little accurate, but this isn't, you know. Just look at the back of the packages. Like, they're extremely cheap. So, yeah, you could see there his localized names, I believe. So Thomas is obviously English. Tuomas, I think that's Finnish. Tomas in Greek. Tomas in Russian. Tomasz in Hungarian. And Tomecz in Polish. And Percy, Pekka, Piotros, Percy, and Percy in different languages. So Percy, Polish, Hungarian, Russian, and Greek on both of these packages. So yeah, Thomas the Tank Engine was my childhood crush, and ever since going back to rewatch it a couple times, I noticed how worse as a show it's gotten over the years. Writing went down after the 7th season, which I grew out of it after the CGI series, after the CGI series just began, because even as a kid, I didn't like how the CGI series was written. And then, as I was rewatching it, I came across the later Brenner episodes, written by Andrew Brenner, and they are much better than, what we have now. I watched a select few episodes of All Engines Go, and let's just say, it's pure brain rot, and it's not even Thomas. Maybe the concept's okay, but it just isn't Thomas. So, enough rambling, we're gonna open up the boxes. So, we have Thomas. Thomas. This is surprisingly the most accurate. These are surprisingly the most accurate Thomas toys I've owned. Because, All Engines Go is very cheaply produced. Yeah, it even says Thomas. And, oh my god, they really want to roll. And there's Percy. So, yeah, these are Trackmaster push-along Thomas toys. And I like how the detail on the bogies, but they don't have the side rods, but that is pretty accurate because they don't have those in the show for some reason. Why are their cabs closed in? That's something that I question about these new designs, is why are their cabs closed in? And yeah, you could see the coal in his bunker, so he clearly has coal. I think he still has a driver, I don't know. Percy? His saddle tank is a lot smaller, as you can see here. Just look at his coal bunker. I like how much effort Mattel put into the detail of these Thomas toys, in spite of the actual show being so cheaply produced. It's not written that good, and it's not really a good show. I understand this shit is for young children. Even younger children than the original show. But, yeah, the show has just become Gen Alpha brain rot, if you know what I mean. I went through a few phases where I hated the show and anyone who considered themselves a Thomas fan. But I went back to the show not too long ago and actually rewatched a few of the good original episodes. Let's just say they were really well written, and they actually used real trains to produce it. It wasn't, CGI, and it wasn't even this cheaply made shit. It was actual trains that ran on a table, kind of like the table that I have here. But there's tracks. If I ever want a model railroad, then at least I have 2 trains to run on it. Well, they're push-along trains. but at least I have, like, something to run on it, though. Honestly, if I were to get into model railroads, I think I'd get into 00, just because I like the size of these things. They're not, they're not, too big, like G-scale or Gauge 1. I'm not sure if Gauge 1 is a thing anymore, but, yeah. Their buffer beams are painted in, but yeah. Honestly, like, when it comes to Thomas toys nowadays, these are the best you'd get. They're not as good as the original wooden railway or Trackmaster or motorized ranges. But, I mean, for a kid getting into Thomas, they do the job. I mean, obviously these aren't, the best toys. And I do actually still have an Edward that I had when I was a little kid. And I'll actually compare it to these two. So here is Edward out of my old nostalgia toy box. So you can see, I mean, he doesn't look too good, but that's because I actually I was very rough with it as a kid. And I ended up breaking 2 of the bogies, as you see they're missing. I broke 2 of the bogies, and I actually, put this in the toilet as a 4-year-old little boy. I was like, I'll put this in the toilet, and then my parents bought me another Edward. And yeah, this honestly looks a lot better than these two. If you go side by side, yeah, this one is quite beaten up, but even then, it's a lot better looking Thomas toy than these two. Like, yeah, you can see it's scratched up. That's because I abused it as a kid. It's not really, Learning Curve's fault, because that was the company that made this was Learning Curve. And this was made by Fisher-Price, which is the preschool branch of Mattel. This, was a Learning Curve toy, and I don't really have any other compatible take-alongs for this to pull, and I only have these two. Well, now let's see if these can pull each other. So let's just say, I mean, I don't have any other all engines go trains, but let's just say Percy breaks down and he needs to be towed, and all of a sudden Thomas stopped and he was like, "Holy shit, Percy broke down!" Oh, sorry. "Holy shit, Percy broke down!" And Percy's like, "Oh, thank God Thomas is here to help. That's what friends are for, Percy." And then, I think I may have to do this off camera because these are cheaply made toys. "Are you ready, Percy? Ready, Thomas?" Ooh, wow, look at that. Yeah, so I was trying to be careful with these couplings, because, like, the front of these couplings look like the motorized Trackmaster couplings, but the back look like the old Erdl couplings. Yeah, I only owned Take-Along and Wooden Railway, and Trackmaster too, but not Trackmaster Push-Along. I owned the original motorized range as well as Play Rail. And back in the day, these were a lot better than this cheaply produced shit. Like, can you even call this Thomas the Tank Engine anymore? Because, like, if you watch the actual show, it is completely deviated from its original source material to the point where, it's not really Thomas anymore. It's something else. I mean, the concept for the show, All Engines Go, can be good, but just isn't Thomas. And I'm not even a Thomas fan. But, I understand what Thomas was supposed to be. We have Thomas and Percy broken apart now. And yeah, so if you look at, oh my god, I hate Android cameras so much. I think I'm gonna get myself an iPhone someday. Oh my god, this fucking camera. Okay. So you can see there's a hole in his smokestack, and his whistles are actually separate pieces now. So I guess that's an improvement, and the same thing with Percy, but why is his dome? But there's still a few problems with, you know, the whistles and the domes. You could see in the show they were brass, but for some reason Mattel decided to make plastic and paint it yellow instead of, I mean, the issue isn't with it being plastic, the issue is with it being, with the Percy's dome and both of their whistles being yellow. Because in the show, I believe they were supposed to be brass gold, but now, like, now they're plastic yellow. And even Learning Curve did this too. I don't know if you could see it. It's a little chipped because I was rough with it, but in original Learning Curve push-along models, I'm trying to get some camera focus here. I don't think my camera's behaving today. But if you could see, like, even Learning Curve did something pretty similar. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so you were just able to see it like minutes ago. Oh. But yeah, if you could see, they didn't, even Learning Curve kind of fucked up too. It wasn't just Mattel, which obviously did a worse job. But even Learning Curve had some flaws, but still, for Thomas toys, I'd recommend you buy your kid or yourself for nostalgia purposes, you know, one of the Learning Curve toys, or even the Hornby Backmen, though the Hornby Backmen are more for, like, model railroaders, like model railroad enthusiasts, particularly children who want to get into the hobby, to, you know, run on model layouts. I'm referring to Bachman and Hornby ranges, but yeah, you get the picture. So yeah, would I recommend you raise your kids on All Engines Go or watch it yourself? No, honestly, it's not that good of a show for kids, and it's not even a good Thomas show. I mean, maybe it would be a good show in concept, but it just doesn't work as Thomas. And if it was like slower paced and actually taught the kids something, rather than just flashy visuals and Thomas going on loop-de-loops and using his wheels as like fingers and Thomas like walking like a human, that's kind of, I mean, I saw that image and it was kind of creepy. Honestly, even if I had a little kid and he saw this, he'd be like, "What the fuck, Daddy? Why did you show me this?" It's because, like, I'm not going to show this image because, like, you know, you may, you know, show this video to your kids. I mean, I don't recommend it because I cussed a little, but, you know, but, you know, keep your kids the fuck away from Thomas and Friends All Engines Go. Like, if you want to raise them on Thomas, raise them on the first 7 seasons, or the 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th season, or even the 21st season, but don't raise your kids on other versions of Thomas, because they're not that well written, they're quite fast paced, and they're just gonna rot their brains, like Skibbity Toilet, and, you know, the other Gen Alpha brainrot. I don't have to explain this, most of you guys will already know this, but keep your kids the fuck away from All Engines Go.